can be
So we can be official?
yeah, figure this out. So this wasn't planned, I just got SunPower's new corporate branding change is now blue shirts, which are way better than black. So I've been writing a lot of emails up to the president of SunPower saying, again, there's this guy, he's a leader in Nevada County, and you should emulate your worldwide global success around Machen McDonald's. I tell everybody that. So welcome to Nevada County Online. We are...
You tried.
I do. Nobody's ever called me not earnest. So my name's Corey Unred. This is Machen. And can anybody tell me out there, what's Nevada County Online? What are we?
How to market stuff online?
Great. Short and sweet. We meet fourth Tuesday of the month here at the Madeline Helling Library at 11 a.m. We are 400 plus members strong, and we're the largest business meetup group in Nevada County because we've just had great success bringing in speakers on a variety of internet marketing topics. And we're volunteer driven. What do you want to say about that?
We need volunteers.
So if you do have anything that you would like to see us cover as far as a topic goes, please talk to Machen, myself, Laura, or Evelyn, a member of the leadership team. If you have a business that you think might be a good fit for a case study, we haven't had one of those in a little while, but if you have a business that's successful online or doing, having success within your marketing channels, love to consider that as something that we could go and share that with our community, because that's really what it's about, is a lot of sharing and taking what we know how to do and really getting it out there, having some conversations about it.
And speaking of sharing, how many people are new? This is your first NCO meetup. Okay, great. So welcome. One of the things that we typically do is we share, right? We ask people in the audience who have had some success online with regards to either something they learned at one of the previous NCO meetups or perhaps something out there that we may not know about in here, to share that with us, because that's where a lot of the learning is. We have great speakers, we get a lot of content and learning from the front of the room, but some of the magic is sitting in those seats out there, and we'd love to hear about it. So does anybody have a share or a win that they'd like to tell us about?
Or any obstacles that you've got in your online marketing.
Bottlenecks, pinch points, hurdles. Yeah.
Actually, I'm transiting into a coaching business, and I haven't even got the website started. Just got an email address, and in general, I'm not known for my technical expertise. So I'm very grateful that there is an organization here and it's local, and I've been on to see some of the videos online. I like the Susie Daggett's. It's very helpful.
So if anybody wants to take your time for success story or obstacles and just praise the group and say how great we are, please consider that as an option. Thank you. Do you have any obstacles or anything in specific other than being, technically not on the high end of that?
Sort of crawling to the finish line, writing an ebook, and would probably be between 45 pages. My picture is that September is kind of a launch thing, and the website and the ebook would go at the same time. That's what I'm pointing to.
Okay, great. One thing I'll throw out there as a potential solution and also help. Can you hear me okay in the back?
I was just deaf, so just speak.
No, I was just spent 4 days with my dad in San Francisco, who's hearing aids in both sides, and it's one of the reasons I can speak is he was a college professor and I could see him up in front of the class. But it was great because at the dining room table, we could talk like this to my dad, and my sisters and I could say whatever else we wanted to say about my friends. And that's fine. So along your business path, one thing I'll put out there is that there are organizations like SBDC that offer mentoring for small businesses. If you guys don't know about this, this is an incredible resource. You can find out more at sierrasbdc.com. That's where you can find mentors that will help you with marketing, or business planning, or financial aspects, or WordPress and technical aspects. Our newest SBDC mentor, Evelyn Fassett, is going to be speaking today.
You're an old
Not that long. It's a relatively new group, so less than a year.
Sierra Writers is also a good group for him, for your ebook.
Excellent. Great
Sierra
reference.
Writers.
What is SBDC?
Small Business Development Center. It's a SBA, Small Business Administration backed nonprofit. Means that you can get free mentoring if you meet minimum standards for your business. So basically, I'm trying out a business is pretty much where they cut the line out, and that you live here regionally. And again, you can go through there and say, okay, here's the things that I really need to do within my business. And for example, I need to have a business plan. So there are people that can help you get that lined up, and I'm a mentor typically related to marketing aspects and sales. So just putting that out there. I like to see if anybody else, a win, what's something you're doing well? Yeah.
I can share and give a little praise for the group. It's helped me quite a bit. My farm is in Mexico, and the scope of it is a rather large project involving social concerns, consciousness and such. But what the current element that we were wanting to do in a step or pieces of scope that we had was to have our own organic food, because it's pretty limited what's available down there, and it will support the campus and the bigger picture. Being up here has really helped connecting with people for ideas. Evelyn in particular has helped a lot to kind of kickstart our website to be able to, at least in a basic way, receive orders and get because with organic food, the practical thing we've been able to do is do it by order rather than just sitting in the store waiting for customers. And our next step will be to create a cart and a more formal order system. And it's always real helpful to come up here and be in the energy of this group and get ideas.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. Okay, let's see if we can do one or two more before we move on. Anybody else? Anything that you're working on with related to online marketing that seems to be working? It seems to be a plan for building your business. Yes.
Well, I'm just getting started, and I have 3 young high-tech sons who are coaching me, and but I can't. And they want me to use certain platforms and say how easy it is to develop my own website. But I'm not able to see which formats best serve somebody. I'm a consultant, and so it's marketing services, and so they don't all seem, the examples I see don't seem to be fit. They're more for products or.
Fantastic. I've got a great example that I'll cover you with a case study to that. So if I don't bring it up on my own, remind me of that when we're talking later on. Great. Okay. Anybody else? Evelyn, yes.
I just want to say, I just want to shout out for networking groups are just amazing. And like for me, all of my work is by word of mouth. I haven't done advertising. I have clients like all over the country and Canada and Mexico and one in Spain. But the going to classes, like I have a group in the East Bay that I've kind of connected with, and it's a bunch of women that are right in my niche. And if I take a class with one of those women, I get a bunch of clients out of it. Because as soon as they find out what you do and they know you because you're in their class, then they start calling you. So I just think it's really important, online marketing is awesome, but it's really important to go places where your clients are. And if it's take a class where you know that your clients are in the audience, just get out there and let them get to know you, and then the clients just come. But I think that's a huge, plus.
Great. Good one.
Good strategy.
Okay. Let's see. One other thing I'd put out there is that we are a community-based organization, so your assistance is needed spreading the word about Nevada County Online. We have business cards in the back. What I recommend, if you enjoyed today's presentation, you enjoyed being part of here and want to help, take a few of those cards for Nevada County Online, put them in your wallet, and if it comes up in conversation, somebody's curious about online marketing or business-related things, just give them a card and say, hey, check this out. This is a good group to get some support so we know we're all in it together. That's probably it. Upcoming
Okay.
speakers, yeah.
To make one more comment about growing our group and sharing the wealth that we have here, we also appreciate any donations that you make to keep this group going. Today, I looked in the kitty and we've got 2 people who graciously donated $5, which is amazing and awesome. But it doesn't cover the cost of this room. And so if any of you feel like by the time this talk is done that you've walked out with a pearl, would you please drop in any bit of donation that you can, whether it's a couple of bucks or whatever. We graciously appreciate it. It's what keeps this group going. So I didn't ask for donations as you walked in the door, but I'm asking now, and when you walk out, don't forget that this will be here waiting for you.
Wonderful. And all the money stays in the group.
It does-
We do
yeah.
holiday
It's
parties
not-
every
it's
year.
non-profit.
It's the notch below nonprofits. Okay, good. Well, let's get started for today's presentations. We've got a lot of ground to cover. I'll let Machen introduce us because he's not prepared to at all. I will say that this topic came up as part of Rick Tracewell's presentation where we started talking about website design and best practices and saying, hey, like, what are the best ways to put a website together? What are the ways to go from having like a new business as a consultant to see, all right, how fast can I get to a website that looks really professional and what are the elements that are common to good websites, so best practices. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Want me to introduce the speakers?
Go ahead.
What is that?
It was a thought, that's how I think. Normally if I'm talking, there's no thinking.
So you probably know most of the panelists, but I'll go ahead and do just a brief introduction. We've got Corian Red, who is what I would call a serial entrepreneur. Has an idea, sees a niche, can fill it pretty quickly. Right now he's in solar, but he's a great mind with regards to web development and SEO traffic, getting people to the website. Evelyn has her own company where she creates websites for people, and she does great work. She's actually worked on my website, and thankful for the work that you've done, and oftentimes bailing me out of stuff I've mucked up, so. She's
People
all-
tend to call me in a panic.
Yeah. That's just the way I.
And just so you know why Machen hired Evelyn, the name of Evelyn's business is Business for Tender Hearts.
Tender hearts, yes. And speaking of tender hearts, we've got Rick Tracewell. Look at that segue. I could have written that myself. And Rick is one of those marketing mavericks. He's got kind of the leading edge mind with regards to what works and helping small businesses navigate what types of marketing they should employ, whether it's text messaging, website, social media. He can identify with your business what works best and which potentially could work best for you. So we've got a lot of great ideas, a lot of great gray matter sitting up there, so don't be bashful in asking questions.
Did he call you an entrepreneur? I was just curious.
An entrepreneur.
Like you said, he's
I'm
a
the Bart
serial
Simpson of the
entrepreneur.
business world.
I might borrow that brilliance. No, I did say entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought he said a serial
Underpreneur.
entrepreneur.
That is great Freudian slip right there.
All right, so without further ado, please focus your time and attention to these 3 great minds.
Great, guys.
Left that so you could see it.
Well, it's just the cord doesn't reach. So why don't you guys take a seat? I'm going to go through some basic introductory things. Huh?
Do we have to sit in the order of the figures?
No. No, I'll shift over to that side later, I guess. So I do a lot of teaching. I work with a lot of businesses. I'm a mentor. I see many businesses working to just go from oftentimes a career change or coming up with that entrepreneurial idea. And folks, in my experience, are often very good at what they're going into business for, but the aspects of marketing and how a website fits into that can be a different language. Our goal today is to go through the basics of that with some examples. We'd love to hear from you guys in the crowd to say, okay, here's a website I like, or here's my website now, what can I do to critique that and make it a little better? I come from the background of search engine optimization for my marketing background. So I built a multi-million-dollar company based on being on the top of Google for very competitive keywords, a company called batteriesforless.com. And I have found that search engine optimization has become increasingly more difficult, but the fundamentals of what that process can teach you about targeting to your market and making sure you have the website that, even though you're on a limited budget, can be the best it can be and really show you in your best light. So I want to walk through those aspects first. Of course, panelists, please, anything you want to add at any time. Audience, please, anything that you want to add at any time. But let's start there. I should mention also that all of our videos, like you saw, are available on Nevada County Online. This presentation today is being videoed and will be posted there. Spread the word on that, and if you haven't been to our video page, check it out. Oh my gosh. Just because I've done a lot of research for like online marketing videos and things, and they're usually that bite-sized, like, you're gonna get one good idea maybe in 3 minutes. These are like this. They're dense, they really can get detailed, and for me, I learn a lot out of that.
Is dense the way to describe it?
Say again?
Is dense the best way to describe it?
Maybe describe you, not the presentation. I realized as soon as I said that, I was, but content rich.
There you go.
So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about, for me, what is a fundamental aspect of marketing. Targeting your market. When you go to build your website, if you build it from your perspective as the business owner, you are likely to not do very well. Because I've often seen businesses that can talk about their business in technical or functional aspects, but it's not based on the benefits that your business provides. Understanding your target market, there's a few tools I'd recommend. First, one option is surveying your market. If you're in business now, call up some of your best clients and say, hey, do you have 3 minutes for 3 questions? Here are my 3 questions. What's the greatest value my business provides to you? One thing, what is the greatest value? What is something additional we could add, a product or service that would add additional value to you? And another key question is, what could we do better? Now there are other questions you might want to ask, but that process of identifying with your market, if you have one, what is that greatest value? Because you may be surprised. Oftentimes it's not why you think you're in business. You can also go to your target market, the market you think is going to be your best clientele. Same thing, ask them those questions. They don't have to have done business with you before. You can say, for example, if Evelyn is a web designer, might say, what is the greatest value a web designer can provide for you? And for many of your clients, I bet it's peace of mind and simplicity. I just want to know it's being done well. And again, I'm projecting. So surveying your market will give you a lot of idea about how you can have that conversation, because you're talking to people, and oftentimes what they suggest in their language can actually be pulled directly into your marketing language. Next, create personas. This is an aspect of having a target market, thinking it down on a very granular level. Who is an example of a fictional person who would be your ideal client? Who are they? Where do they go online? Who do they listen to? What magazines do they read? What media do they consume? If you can paint the picture of that person, your ability to put that into your website, so you're talking to that person, making sure Rick is going to talk a bit about user interface and that communication that goes on a website. It'll be better if you've got an idea of who that person is. Keyword research comes from fundamentals of search engine optimization. Know exactly the way that people are searching for you, your products and services online. And again, there's so many things that you can see as insights there. So for example, a growing trend in keyword research are people asking questions to Google. So what is, insert your business, what is business consulting? What is personal development? What is that thing? For example, then, hey, think about what you could put on your website for content. If you find the market's asking those questions, wouldn't it be great if you have a page on your site that's simply called, what is blank? And it goes through and explains your perspective of what that is. It's also not a bad landing page. There are other tools for seeing what people are talking about. This is a search engine called socialmention.com that's good at seeing conversations in social media. And researching competitors is a key step. So in the search engine optimization process, once you know the keywords, the next step is to find out who's on the top of Google and why, and what can you learn about them. There's oftentimes, by the way, so much you can learn about your business. Here's a trick. If you're looking at competitors, go outside of our little geographic area here. Because for example, if you are a personal development coach, picking a profession, and you want to market here in Nevada County, and you do a search for personal development coach in Nevada County, you're not likely to find some high-grade, top-of-the-line websites. But if you did personal development coach San Francisco, Marin, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami, bigger metropolitan areas, you're likely to find some really nice websites that can inspire you and guide you to creating better content and website design. All right, I want to, before we go into too much on websites, let me just go through the basics of search engine optimization. I mentioned first step, keyword research. What are people searching for? If you could wave a magic wand, what are the most relevant keywords you'd want to be on the top of Google for? Again, competitor research. Who's there now? You can see aspects of their search engine optimization, but also their copywriting, their use of colors, their use of a sales funnel, the way their website's designed. There's really a lot there that, takes a little time, but definitely pays dividends. Yes?
I was just curious if anyone doesn't understand like what search engine optimization is and what it does for them, like just even a little higher level.
Yeah. Good
Because
question.
they
So,
might know these terms.
search engine optimization is the process of designing your website as well as your marketing so that the most relevant keywords for your business are ones that if people type them into Google or other search engines, they find your website. So for example, I recently worked with a company that sells tires in Auburn. What do you think the keyword would be for a company that sells tires in Auburn?
Tires and all.
There you go. But we also found in the process of doing keyword research, for example, that a common way people search for tires is tire shop. Not tire store, not tire service. People are looking, that's why you talk with a friend, oh, I know a good tire shop. So that was one of the first things he did, was change some of the aspects, optimize his website for search so that he was coming up not just for Tires Auburn, but for Tire Shop Auburn, and that makes a difference. So getting to the top of Google or working toward that for keywords that are relevant to your business. Did you okay?
Awesome.
Hey, so up to that point, was his presentation too dense or not dense enough? Okay.
For you, it's always going to be too dense. Right? That's why you should ask the person next to you. If you feel you are too dense, please turn to the person next to you.
Are you using Google's keyword search?
Yeah, Keyword Planner.
Yeah.
It's part of, there's a tool that's part of Google AdWords. Those are the sponsored ads that appear next to search results called, you can go to Google AdWords to create accounts there, but there's a tool there called Google Keyword Planner. Yes, it's my preferred tool because the information is coming directly from Google. Quick note, you do have to enter your credit card in to create a Google AdWords account, but you don't have to start spending any money. It'll prompt you to create a campaign and get you all ready to start spending money. Just pause it, don't use it, don't spend money. That's an advanced lesson. You have to really have your website. For example, you're going to spend money to send traffic to your website. Better be a darn good website that can take that traffic and convert it into customers. Thank you. Oh, website design and landing pages. What you get out of these first two steps in search engine optimization is better ideas of what to do on your website, but also specific content that you want. So I gave the example of what is, and insert whatever you do as a business. There are many other landing pages. We'll give some examples of those today. And then the final thing is your website needs to be social. It needs to be connected. That is actually the key element, and like an iceberg below the surface, the most important factor in getting rankings on Google. We're not going to spend much time on that today, but again, this is the process that I go through when I look at a business because it can guide you to the best website much of the time, even if you maybe are going up against strong competition and aren't likely to get in the top few results of Google. You'll still make a much better website. Okay, so very briefly related to website design, when you're looking at creating a landing page for your website. Again, I use a tool like Google Keyword Planner. Are there enough searches for those terms? If you do something that's so specialized that nobody's searching on Google, well, that's going to raise some questions. Do you need that content on your website? Is that the best direction for your business? Are the way people search relevant to your business? Landing pages need to be logical. They need to make sense. Sometimes you'll have very, very, very similar keywords. Put them both onto one landing page opposed to building too many. And finally, with any website building process, and we'll be talking about this, you have time and the money to build. What it often leads to is a website structure, and this is a tool I work with sometimes with the people I mentor, is saying, hey, let's visually lay out what the content of your website is going to be. What are the most important pages? Here are pages, for example, that you could have on your website that you may or may not. So most websites, in my experience with small businesses, don't have a privacy policy. They haven't gotten around to it. But by the way, it's pretty easy to do and probably something that you should consider doing on your website. Contact us if you want to have a fax page, etc. And then these boxes are reserved for any of those topics related to keywords, related to your market, that content. All right, let's go over to you, Evelyn. I'll pause there. Was that all clear? What I said out there? Any
Is
questions?
your PowerPoint online too?
It will be.
It will be. Yeah, we'll have it.
Not yet, but it will be.
Great.
Okay. Okay, why build a website? So the people that I work with have lots of different reasons for building their websites, but they kind of come down to basically these things. You can use it for entertainment. Sometimes your website's just there to share cool pictures of something. Education, you might offer courses, training, you might be a coach and you teach people something. Communication, you could have a blog where you interface with your audience, and so you really like a two-way communication. You might want to sell products, which we call e-commerce, once you sell something on your website. But you can sell real things, and you can also sell your time or knowledge. You can sell a service. You can use your website for community building, which is kind of what we even do at the Nevada County Online. We actually have the website, which is linked to the meetup, which has videos. So we really have a community here called Nevada County Online Meetup. And then, of course, make money, again, in addition to sell products. A lot of people are building a website because their goal is to make money. They want to, in the end, have it pay for itself and hopefully support them to a nice old age. And so what does your website do? Corianne kind of fixed this for me. So does it directly sell your goods and services, or does it direct someone to something else? You know, you might have affiliate links to sell Amazon products, let's say, that you don't even own or don't care about, but you can sell other people's products on your website. Does it generate leads? We'll talk a little bit about a landing page of how do you get people's maybe email address from your website. Do you just provide contact information? I mean, I've heard of people who've made six-figure businesses that just had a website that said, under construction, please call me, and had their phone number. And enough people heard of them, Googled their name, found that website, and called them. They didn't even have a really big website, so they just provide some contact information. And then build community. And then what is mine supposed to do? Not mine, or my website.
What is mine supposed to do? Okay, that was
That was
done at 6 a.m. this morning.
Right. And so you can have a website sales funnel. It's kind of like doing its own thing, Corianne.
Oh,
That's okay, it's all timed, it's all magic.
Oops.
Okay, so what is my website supposed to do? If it has a website sales funnel on it, then you'll have these various features of this funnel, which I'm sure all of you probably heard of the concept of like a sales funnel or a marketing funnel, where you first start with the wide end of the funnel and your goal is to capture as many people into your funnel as possible. And then through the process of elimination or further opportunities for them to do more business with you, you narrow them down to where the bottom narrow part of the funnel, your really great customers come out of that at the end. And so your end of the funnel can be your goal of what you want them to do. Call to action, shopping cart, and those can actually be in various places of the funnel also, because your call to action, your very start of the funnel will be a call to action too. And then how to build a website. What do you want to do? What is your budget? Research your keywords, as Corianne brought out, and your market. You want to know who you're talking to. You want to use your competitors to make your website better. I use a couple of examples later. I call it don't reinvent the wheel. You can find people who are very, very successful in your niche, see what you like about their website and let it inspire you. We don't steal from them, but we let it inspire us to make our website successful, because obviously they're successful. They probably are that way for a reason. And then plan ahead, create the wireframe, and this is what pages your website should have. That was that diagram that Corianne shared, where you actually kind of make like a little blueprint of what your website's going to look like. You want to know how much time you have, how much money you have, what do you want to say, because it's always that thing in life. You either have time or you have money, but we often don't have both at the same time. And so sometimes you have more time and you can actually invest in learning how to build your own website. You can there's lots of different design tools. WordPress is one. Wix.com is a free drag and drop web building business. Joomla is another content management system like WordPress. There's lots of, GoDaddy has a little website builder. There's a lot of ways. I know.
Yes.
I know. They're my least favorite, but a lot of my
GoDaddy,
clients
don't use
use
that
them. So.
Question. Is
Uh-huh.
there much difference between WordPress and Joomla as far as capabilities, preferences, that sort of thing?
I think they can probably both do the same thing, but I happen to be a WordPress developer. My preference is WordPress. I've worked on a few clients, Joomla and Drupal. So Joomla and Drupal are kind of like the little brothers and sisters to WordPress. And I know certain people in businesses have gone with, say, Drupal because they were told that it did something better, but I don't know of anything that could be better than
Sort
WordPress.
of just
WordPress is more user-friendly, it's
Yeah.
bigger community, it's just way more plug-in options, and it's just easier
Yeah.
for most people, even designers.
Yeah.
Joomla and Drupal are more programmer languages, people who have specific needs.
And honestly, in my experience, the reason they're still around is that there's a lot of programmers who used Joomla and Drupal when they were much bigger as far as percentage of the market. And they're kind of hanging that onto that with their client base to say, oh, if you want to do that, you have to use Joomla, but they may not know, yeah, you can do that.
And I will throw one more thing, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
The other good thing about going with WordPress is that, like what he was just saying, if you hire a designer to do a website in Joomla, and then for some reason you no longer have a relationship with that guy, you now have to find somebody who knows Joomla.
And good luck with that.
Right? WordPress, number one, you could get in there and figure it out if you needed to change something, and you can find people who can run up on the sidewalk at like any downtown anywhere and run over 10 WordPress people, so.
Yeah, WordPress. And the percentage of, another talk that I do on WordPress, I have a list of huge, like big organizations, like the Wall Street Journal that uses WordPress. WordPress is such a flexible platform.
I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yes.
I'm gonna put $5 in the little jar. Drop of wisdom.
There's all kinds of, and the last statistic I read was like 23% of the best websites, whatever that means, were WordPress. So WordPress is a huge platform. It's growing all of the time. It's well supported. They come out with updates like every 5 minutes. No, seems like it sometimes for developers.
Sometimes
Maybe-
tied to iTunes.
Yeah, maybe every week, but it's just an amazing tool, WordPress is. Along with other things, I don't like to limit my people. They can do whatever they want.
Isn't WordPress a little more technical, whereas Wix might be the drag and drop, easier for a total beginner?
You can say that. Wix is my favorite of those kind of editors, kind of the drag and drop editors, and it is pretty simple. They give you like free for 5 pages, up to 5 pages, they give you free. Then you can put your own domain at it, and you can make a pretty nice website pretty easily with something like Wix. There are also some drag and drop editors for WordPress. Also, there are third-party plugins that do a drag and drop editor for WordPress so that you're not using, if any of you have played with WordPress, the old-fashioned, their visual editor that is really not visual, it's really not drag and drop. But there are other editors you can get for WordPress, and a lot of themes now are coming out with a built-in drag and drop editor as part of it. So you kind of have to look at it. It's changing all the time, so you kind of have to start from today and say, well, what's available today? Because a year ago it could be totally different. Any question?
What would you say about Squarespace?
Beautiful templates. They have a monthly fee. And so a lot of times, depending on where you're at, and they have support. So you have Squarespace support, you have their templates, and only their kind of extensions or plugins that they allow. You don't have the free-for-all that you have with WordPress, where you have, who knows how many different options, plugins, themes are out there for WordPress. But there's a lot of people who are really happy with using Squarespace, and it, with the support, they're hosting it. You don't have to worry about updates or anything like that. And it's just a little more expensive because you can get a WordPress site up, for a really inexpensive hosting. WordPress is free, themes are free, you can, just depends on where you're at. But no, Squarespace, I haven't actually used it, I just looked at it. And it seems like it's pretty good.
And then how easy to migrate from Wix to WordPress?
It's really easy if you go on Fiverr.com.
On what?
Fiverr.
Oh, fine.
And you pay someone to do it for you.
Okay.
And you can get some really great deals. I had someone from anything to WordPress. You know, I had a client with an HTML website, lots of pages. She was a graphics designer, lots of graphics, very, you know, pretty website. And I found somebody in Oman who converted it to a WordPress site, did a beautiful job for like $125. So it was just so yeah, if I was gonna convert from anything to WordPress, I'd probably just hire someone really cheap.
I know somebody who's got Wix, someone's got a WordPress. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's, there's no direct way to do it. It's a lot of cut and pasting and reformatting, and that's a great tip because the thing I'd say about Wix is that I'll take a look at it a little bit later and show everybody, is give you different template options. So a lot of times, to not have exactly the website you want, but to very quickly go get your content up, Wix is very good. And then the transition is there so that when you're ready for it, you can then hire somebody or for yourself cut and paste your content to go to WordPress. So you don't necessarily lose the work you've done with Wix, you just have to redo it to a different format.
And it allows you to get something up quickly while maybe you're making a really nice WordPress site, if that's what you want to do. So some of the reasons why I love WordPress, it's easy to use generally. Blogging is built in, which is SEO friendly because you constantly have new content on your website that Google loves, and there are plugins for everything. So literally anything you can think of that you want to put on your website, there will be a plugin to do that for you. And so it's really fun to play with. And there are such a variety of themes.
I was going to suggest, can you give me a website maybe that you've worked on that's got a plugin or two that you could use as an example?
All websites have a lot of plugins.
Yeah. So
Let me think of.
I'll take us to Finding Happiness if nothing else. Is
Okay, sure.
I mean,
That's fine,
Is
yeah.
there a WordPress blog?
A WordPress blog?
Yeah, updates on what's going on, it's new for WordPress?
Yeah, there actually is,
What's
yeah.
that called? WordPress?
WordPress.org, and they just have everything about everything about
So they
WordPress
do
there. You just
everything
go
on
to
a regular basis.
WordPress.org and search for whatever you want.
and just establishing a connection.
You could go to one, maximizeyourwealthnow.com.
Okay. We're
This-
waiting for.
This has a whole bunch of different plugins in it.
And I am not connected
To the
yet
internet.
to.
Oh, you don't
It says
have
connected. There it goes. That's one.
Okay.
I will not use this for any nefarious purposes.
Promise.
Okay, good.
So maximize your wealth.
And one other thing I put out there as far as vocabulary goes, does everybody know what a theme is in WordPress? Does anybody not know what a theme is related to WordPress? Really?
I'll just say that, so that we can describe it.
Okay, thanks. We had somebody else. WordPress is the core coding that makes the website, but you can skin that website. You can make it look and feel any one of thousands of different ways. The way you do that is with a theme. So developers built a specific format for a website. You can go through a theme directory, for example, and see a lot of different options. All right, Evelyn, where are we looking?
Yeah, so like this website, for instance, has a lot of plugins. The header is actually a slideshow. And so there's a plugin that makes your header a slideshow. It has, like if you go to I think it's Web TV Audition.
Okay.
So this is a form that people can fill out to, kind of audition for her web TV show. So that uses a plugin that is really simple to use that you can create forms. And then once the form is submitted, that data gets emailed to you, and then it can also go into a database with another plugin that lets you take the contact form information and put it in a database so that later you can look at it. If you go back to the menu, on the right, the members, this website has a membership plugin that is free and super simple to use, and I happen to really like it.
What's the name of that plugin?
It's called S2 Member. S2 Member. They have a free version and they have a pro version, which doesn't cost very much, but I have built quite a few sites out of the free version. It works really good. It's super simple. It interfaces automatically to Aweber and MailChimp. Interfaces automatically with several payment processors like PayPal and Stripe, things like that.
What was the name of the one you're using?
S2 member.
S2 member?
S2 member. And so, and it has pretty good, kind of support community on their forum on WordPress.org. But this is something that I'm noticing is really popular these days, is using a membership plugin.
Oh, I'm interested in polling somebody on the website, just asking them simple multiple choice questions and getting a response and then giving them immediately the statistic on what the vote was.
Uh-huh.
Is that a
There's,
plugin?
well, I just one of the sites I was working on the other day someone had installed a polling plugin, and we're not using it yet, so I didn't get to see how it works. But there's probably many polling plugins. Yeah, literally, you just Google WordPress plugin polling.
Yeah,
and
it's
you'll
demonstrated.
find a bunch.
This is how for WordPress, this is how you figure out, say you're doing competitor research, and you know you've got a WordPress site, and you're like, oh, I like that feature. The first thing I do is typically what Evelyn's saying, go to Google, WordPress plugin, and try to describe as best you can what the feature does, and then you'll see examples. So
Go ahead.
What was the plugin that you used to go from the contact form into a database?
There's the contact form plugin is called Contact Form 7. It's a real popular plugin. And I think the plugin is called like Contact DB. And it takes data from Contact Form 7, from Gravity Forms, from like several other forms plugin. The Contact DB will take that contact from multiple forms. So yeah, there's like umpteen Googles of the hard part is deciding usually which one, because there's so many. So yeah, voting, polling.
So, a couple of things I want to bring up. First of all, we're getting into some technical details here. Evelyn is going to be doing workshops at Sierra Commons. Do we have a date set yet for this yet?
I have to do that.
Okay, so we're setting up dates. If you like what Evelyn's saying and you're like, oh my God, she's great, which by the way, she is, there is availability that you can come to Sierra Commons. If you don't know about us, we're a great resource. It's at sierracommons.org to find out more. We'll be posting that. We'll share it on Nevada County Online. I'll be collaborating with some of the sessions there. But it's a chance for you to bring in your laptop on your WordPress site you're working on and say, I want to know how to do this, or I'm having an obstacle, like Machen said, going to Evelyn, and now it's really affordable. It's a really great way to have a mentor to take you through it.
And you can also work with me through SPDC. That's another option for people who don't have a budget. Now here's a really good thing to point out. See right here the warning? Sure, go back to the warning. It says this plugin hasn't been updated in over 2 years. Those are the kind of things that you want to look for when you're searching for plugins. You want to make sure that it's current, and over on the right it will tell you the version that it's compatible. This one's up to 3.2.1, it's compatible. So that's the kind of thing that you'll be looking for when you're looking for WordPress.
And that's actually a good point about when you do hire a professional, they take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
They make sure your site's secure, that the plugins are updated. Those are things that people, it's like Evelyn and I both do to keep your site running and secure.
And there are times when there's been a plugin that I wanted to use and it said it wasn't compatible, so I wrote to the developer and said, how come you're not compatible? And they'll say, oh, I am. I said, well, can you please update this? Because I don't trust your plugin unless it says it's compatible. So they actually went on and fixed it. So, there's always ways.
And we are on the WordPress plugin directory website. So this is, if you notice at the top here, is wordpress.org. So I just did a search for polling, and now we're actually searching within the WordPress directory of all these different plugins.
And you can actually do that from within WordPress, which makes it easier because you just go install.
Right. The ones that are in the repository, yeah. Sometimes there'll be a plugin that you like that's not, but yeah, definitely. Okay, awesome. We kind of went deeper than I expected. Thank you. I appreciate that. So here's some of the popular website features. When you're designing your own website, you might look at some of these other things you might want. At the membership site, like I mentioned, a lot of people are using that as a way to deliver products. So instead of, let's say, having an e-commerce plugin where people buy your ebook and then they go and they download it, a lot of people are creating a membership area. You become a member with your purchase, and then there'll be a page in the membership protected area where you can go download the product. So that's becoming really common, I see. Landing pages for whatever company you might have, the sales.
What's the advantage of that? You're able to like establish a membership list?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's actually easier to deliver a product inside of a protected page like that, rather than just having them, like get it in an email and they have to download from the link. Sometimes customer support can be a real issue when you are selling things online. People don't understand how to download or how to extract a zip file or whatever. And so sometimes they understand how to log into a membership site. It's pretty easy, and then they just go to the page and this stuff is there. So sometimes it's for ease.
Another advantage for you to, hold on one second. Yeah, whoever made a comment, Doug, shh. I'm the presenter today, man. No, I would reference, there's a great presentation by Barry Friedman on creating a membership site that's under our video archives. So it's creating a membership site. It's fantastic. And he goes through a lot of detail about not only why you do it, but exactly how. Thank you.
And you've got a captive audience to sell. And then, Sir, back there, did you have
I think because also the membership side is you're maintaining database for them. They're already a member, and they might come back later on and have something updated.
Well, and the goal for everything is recurring income. That's the magic word. And so a membership site, you can sell them a product to get them into it, but if you offer information that they're willing to pay on a monthly basis for, magic. You've got recurring income.
Actually, he touched on it. One of the things I help create online teaching, and if you have it in a membership site, it can always be current.
Yeah.
So you've got the latest version of whatever it is you're teaching, and you can communicate with the people there, and you want to get people going to your site anyway. Click, go.
And yeah, if they download some product and then you make changes 2 weeks later, they're outdated. Yeah, that's a really good point then. And then some of the things we see often are photo galleries to showcase your work, clear call to action on the homepage. When people land on your homepage, you want them to have one thing to do. You don't want to confuse them with a bunch of things. Let them know where you want them to go. And also building mailing lists, that's a common use for websites. And then don't reinvent the wheel. That was my thing of finding websites you like, use them as inspiration, look at the websites of people who spend a lot of money and get ideas from them. And so like here are some examples, and I'm not sure how we want to schedule this, but actually it was kind of interesting. The top two are really big internet marketers, multi-million dollar internet marketers. And I've worked with both of them actually, and they are both WordPress sites that they build on. The bottom two, they're building on their very own platforms that they develop. So Lead Pages is Clay Collins, is their very own platform. Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels is his very own platform to build websites. But they do have things you can look at and get ideas.
Does ClickFunnels integrate into WordPress as well?
ClickFunnels is its own everything. It's on its own hosting.
But Lead Pages does integrate.
Lead Pages has a plugin that you can put in a WordPress site so that you can actually, pull in a lead page right in your URL for your WordPress site.
Yes. Do you want to look through any of these specifically?
I don't know what our time is like, so we can maybe
You're
say
good. We got about half an hour left.
We still have Rick.
Oh, you got 5 minutes for him.
Well, let me just show you
My presentation's really
let's just go to Ryan's site, digitalmarketer.com, and you'll just see a couple of little features that he used. In fact, I just had a client come to me who said, okay, look at Ryan Dice's website. I want mine to look just like that, because she knows how successful he is. So,
and if somebody came to you as a web developer 15 years ago and said that, oh, I saw Amazon, I want my site just be like that, you just go, ha, 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 and you just die a stroke. Whereas today it really has changed, that there's a lot of those elements of even the top end sites that you can have an a la carte shopping list, and a lot of those are within reach.
and one of the little things that I thought was really cool is the top bar, where it just says, first-time visitors start here. So very simply, he tells you where to go first, lets you search his site first, so it kind of gets that out of the way right away. And he has a super simple menu, just blog, products, members. So he has a membership area. He's another one that gets you into that recurring income. And he has products he sells, and he has blog posts. But he basically takes you through the process of, if you land on Ryan Dice's website, like the homepage had the 3 different things that you could be looking for. And what is Ryan's way is every single one of his features, like go back to home, Crayon. Every single one of his features take you really to the same place. He says like, I want to drive more traffic, I want to boost conversions, I want to increase engagement. You can click on any of those. The start here, you can click on that, and guess where everything funnels you? To his member site. So Ryan Guy says, okay, you want this, you want that, you want this? Awesome, pay me $59 a month, or I don't know what it is right now, and become a member. And all of that information is taught to you on my membership site. So he kind of makes it look like he has a whole bunch of products he's selling here, but he's really just taking you to his desired end for you. And so a lot of us, same thing, we could take from that, we can get ideas and inspiration by when we build our website, maybe we're a coach and we really just want like a phone call with them. You could have like, do you want to make more money in your business? Or do you have relationship problems? Or you could have all these different things all over your website, and every one of them leads them to having a phone call with you. So it looks like a lot of things, but you're capturing different people's interests and all taking them to the same direction. Major?
By the way, for those of you that might still like cognitive artifacts, known as like books and paper and pencil, Ryan just wrote a new book, and it's like $9, and he basically walks you through how he markets to people using that site, and there's sample email letters, and it's kind of a nice indoctrination into this whole concept.
And
If you're
Ryan,
looking for a dense indoctrination, come to Valley
Dense,
County Online.
yes.
well,
Yes.
and what's great about Ryan is he will use a book as what he calls in his marketing funnel, a lead magnet.
Yeah.
So what he does is he gives you the book for free, cash and pay for shipping and handling, and then you get into his funnel. So yeah, he's cool, and he's funny. It's like, how can you be funny and rich? That's not fair. Short though, very short.
Hey.
I know. Ryan makes you look like Hulk. So I think, I don't want to take up any more time, I think we've gone, but basically that's what I do. I look at a website like that and I say, what is he doing? What do I like about it? And how can I implement it? So my new client, we have the bar right across the top. Are you new here? Click here. We just literally copied exactly what he did, because we know he probably spent like $500,000 A/B testing like just that. So it's much easier for me just to do it.
What is A/B testing?
A/B testing is when you have a little change on your website. I mean, A/B testing can be used for a lot of things, but on a website, you have 2 options, and you have a system that delivers those 2 options to random people that come to your website, and you track which one works. So it's kind of either gives you version A or it gives you version B, and then the software tracks which one worked. And then later you can make another little change, even sometimes changing out a graphic. Like Ryan's people, they'll like change the font and that's it, or the color of a word, and they'll A/B test it.
Yeah.
And just, they hone it down to a science.
And that's the other thing I'd say about lead pages. So lead pages oftentimes are the simplest landing pages you're ever going to see. They're going to be a statement and a box that you put in your email. But they have tested the heck out of those pages to get down to an evolution of what tends to work for different markets. So looking through lead pages can be really informative. Go, wow, like it's really simple. Well, a lot of testing went into getting to that evolution.
Yeah, and you can look at a lead page and then just make your own WordPress page look like it. You don't have to pay the monthly fee for lead pages. Okay, so I think and this is the most important thing why people come to me and they like WordPress. People want control, or any other website builder. They don't want to be controlled by a webmaster. I get horror story after horror story of people who wanted to like change the date on something, and their web person took a month, and they could have gone in and edited in 30 seconds, and they get so frustrated that they want a website that they can control. And WordPress is that, it lets you be in control. Okay, I think that was my last slide.
I have a question. In using WordPress, there's one of the big things is about different hostings. I mean, that's something that I've been looking at, and I just like goes over my head and I turn my computer off and
Yeah.
watch
And-
TV.
And until you have like massive traffic on your website and it's like super busy, I would say like 99%.
GoDaddy.com?
Well, for domain registration, it's good, but not for hosting?
No.
Yeah,
no.
yeah, GoDaddy's great for
Who hosts,
domain
what's
registry.
what's your?
My favorite right now is called siteground.com. SITE ground.com. They really focus on service, they focus on security. I mean, I don't know the evidence because I don't see people get hacked that much, but I just had a friend get hacked. And then I also, Just Host, there's a group of hosting companies that are like they have like HostGator, Just Host, Bluehost, they all have like host in them. They're all kind of owned by the same umbrella company. And most of them their service comes out of Arizona and their servers are in Provo, Utah. So there's like a whole group of them, and I actually have affiliate links for Just Host because that's usually like the cheapest way to get into that group of them. And to me, they're all the same. But any one of them, what I look for in a host, I want them to have cPanel for the control panel. I want them to have 24/7 phone support and chat support. Absolutely, those are the most important things. And any national company that offers those things, cPanel, 24/7 phone and chat support, they're gonna do the job for you unless you're like super big website, like lots of traffic. And so, yeah, so I think you're probably okay. It's I haven't found that many hosts that just really suck. And when I do, I just get my people off of them right away. They're usually small. It's kind of sad that like a small town hosting company, you know, their support is like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. And I only work late at night, and I have to have support like at midnight. And it has to be chat or phone, both. I want them both. So that's what I look for. But SiteGround, Just Host, Canvas Host.
What kind of price range are we looking at monthly for most of this?
A SiteGround right now is like $3.95 a month, $3.95 a month for a single site. They're amazing support. You click on their support chat, and I have never waited a minute.
Great.
Ever. I mean, they are like right on there. They're centered in Sofia, Bulgaria, their people, but your server would be in Chicago, I think their latest one is. So, but they're awesome. And then like Just Host, all of the companies are tightening up on their support. You could wait 20 minutes for support like a year ago. And now I'm noticing they're all tightening up where they get to you faster. So, but if anyone wants to use one of my affiliate links, let me know, I'll give it to you.
What is the problem with GoDaddy hosting?
They want to nickel and dime you to death for everything. And they just now are moving to cPanel. It was really hard to even get cPanel before with GoDaddy. And like I just had a letter when one of my customers who has 2 websites on GoDaddy, neither of them are even live. And they said, you're using too many resources. And I'm like, what? So anyway, I was like, this is crazy. Your sites aren't even live yet. How could we be using any resources at all? So yeah, and then they'll bet for this much money, you can go to service level tier 3. So that's just one of the reasons I don't like them. They do that. Okay, and I want Rick to talk.
I don't have a presentation up there. I've got talking points. So, and I will show a live website. Everything that both these two talked about is all relevant and
I
valuable.
want people to see, just tell me and I'll
Yeah.
put them up.
He'll drive for you.
Okay, so what I was going to focus on was more of the aesthetics of your website, just some of the things, the do's and don'ts. That's what I just wanted to make it simple, straightforward, easy to understand, and not too technical as far as things that are not cool to put on your website these days, or if ever, and things to make sure that are on your website as far as features and user interface. You know, when people get to your website, how they navigate around. One of the big don'ts, and I mentioned this last month when I was here, is don't have anything automatically start playing music or a video. Okay, if you're a business that is related to the person visiting your website, well, first off, it scares people, number one. Because it just
It gets them in
jumped
trouble
out.
at work too.
Well, that's what I was about to say. The other one is that, because we talked about it, if they're looking for real estate on their employer's dime, you don't want music to start playing and then so that's a big one. A lot of people tend to go a little crazy on design if they're doing it themselves. It's kind of like, I've been around a long time. I don't want to give the dates, but when I first started doing desktop publishing, fonts were big, just started. So before that, it was just straight text. So fonts, everybody just went crazy on fonts, and eventually, as a designer, you end up coming back to 3 fonts, Arial, and so don't go crazy on fonts, don't go crazy on colors. Any flashy content. I mean, I'm assuming with everything that I'm going to talk about, I'm assuming that you have a small business that is not an entertainment website, right? So you're not entertaining people at your site, you're providing them with information that eventually, hopefully, funnels them to your cash register, okay? So that said, flashy content, things moving around, things running across the screen, just not necessary. People, again, what Corian mentioned about you being the person evaluating your website, while there's a lot of merit to that because you know your business, you don't see it as a consumer will see it. So you see your business like this, and we don't. We come to your site and we have expectations, number one, from just being casual web browsers, and number two, there's specific information I want to get from your company, whether it's what the heck do you do, or how does your website look? Do you look professional because I saw an ad, or you called me on the phone? So those are things that you really need to understand is what the site visitor is looking for when they get to your website. One of the other things I talked about last month was on your website, if you have your phone number anywhere on your website, it needs to be clickable. And I'll talk about the mobile version of your website a little bit, but a lot of people don't get that. And nothing frustrates me more than having to, especially while I'm driving or I have to pull over, I have to press and hold and drag it across the phone number and copy it and then open my phone app, and it drives me nuts. Because it's so simple when and you can ask any of us how to make it a clickable thing. It's super easy. So, and it's absolutely what people are expecting these days. Yes?
No, you just say it.
I answered it, okay. Yeah, it's a very simple thing to do, and people just don't think about it.
And are most people going online with their cell phones rather than
I mean,
their laptops? I mean,
let me tell you,
that's really the trend.
mobile, well, let's put it this way. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's a very high statistic that people go to bed with their iPad tablets. So they sit there and they're reading and they're checking Facebook and they're doing that kind of stuff before they go to bed. So mobile, they may have a computer, but when they're doing mobile things, but especially when you're if you have any type of a retail business that people are going to be visiting, they're going to expect to be able to call you. And in fact, a lot of people will get off of your website and go do a search in Google because Google's phone number for you is clickable, and now they're off your website.
I heard recently there are more mobile devices than there are people on Earth.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Ants still rule the way more ants than mobile devices and people combined.
Yes.
Just so.
Yeah, but ants aren't clickable. So I just had to trump your name. So another thing you don't want to do, and I'll explain why, is, and a lot of people make this mistake, it's a very long, ongoing mistake. How many of you have spam problems? Too much spam coming through your email? Okay. Take your email address off of your website. Make it a web form, because there are robots that come through and grab your email address, and it is now out there all over the damn place. And it's very difficult to get off of those lists. It's easy to not get on those lists. Careful who you email to, who you respond to, forms that you fill out, like you just want to get a quick little bit of information, you fill out the form. Careful who you put your email address in there too. At one point I used to have a dummy Gmail account that I never looked at just to get the information, and I don't really care what goes there. But having your email address clickable and in text on your website will get you caught up in spam. So make it a web form. It's super easy, especially if you're doing a WordPress site. Very easy to build a web form. And then it comes to you through email, but your email address is not published.
I've been wondering, because I have mine set that way, but Can't the robots still see in the coding that?
It depends on the code. The proper plugins will not. It'll do it on the server side. It'll send it through the mail on the server, not put it in the code. Yeah, it depends on the, there are some that do, so you gotta be careful.
Supposed to put it as a graphic.
I mean, the graphic is fine, but if it's clickable, then what he is saying, the code will have your email address in it.
I'm curious,
Yeah.
you know, where people spell it out like at.
Yeah, some people do that, but,
Are
you
they?
know, like anything else, I mean, these guys are smart. Yeah, they're gonna know that you write, I mean, I've seen it, like she was saying, you know, I've seen where they write the word AT instead of the at symbol, and that worked a while ago, but they're smart. You know, they're figuring that out. So that's another thing not to have. Here's a big one. Don't blather on and on your website. Content is king, but it also can be overwhelming. So if you have a website that has a 1,000-word paragraph, I'm sorry, I'm gone. I'm not going to read that. So a lot of people, I mean, there is a lot to say about keyword richness and making sure you have keywords on your page, but make them, you don't want them to trump the usability of your website, you know, or people actually staying on it. Because I mean, there's a ton of research and stuff with that a lot of marketers go crazy on as far as how long people stay on your website. If they go to your homepage and click away, then there's something wrong, right? Either they're finding you the wrong way and you're not what they're looking for, or your website's just so confusing or whatever that they're off of it. So keeping people engaged is really what marketing is all about. Way before the internet was invented, it's all about engaging. That's what marketing is engaging and hopefully converting to sales.
I just have a comment about that.
Yeah.
So old school search engine optimization, it's all about keywords, right? So you dump a bunch of keywords in your pages. So that's less of a factor now because among other things, Google measures when somebody finds a page in search results and goes to that page. If they come right back to Google and click on a different result or different search, Google recognizes that and says, oh, your website must not be that very good because the average time that people are on your site is 4 seconds versus your competitor where it's more like an average time of 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to give them better search results.
And the reason why they do that in the first place, he's talking about it from a business standpoint, why they do that in the first place is Google wants you as the person searching to find the content you really need, right? And so they're basing it on the sites that are actually serving the correct content. They want to put those up first, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's generally the idea. So you need to play that game. Here's some of the things to do. Having contact info within one click. You got to have that. You know, if you want people to contact you, and I'm assuming you do, you need to have contact info right up front. Ideally, in the top bar. You know, if you're a brick and mortar, you know, if you don't know what that is, if you're an actual storefront and not a virtual company or out of your house, that's probably the #1 reason people visit your website is to get contact info, directions, click to call, those kind of things. Make your site navigation easy to use. Don't reinvent the word about. People are looking for the word about. Don't make it confusing because people have zero patience. When they're navigating websites, and they will go somewhere else or they'll click around and they get frustrated and now they're frustrated with your company. You just blew it. Okay. A welcome message is a nice thing. I can't tell you how many websites I go to and I click on it and I go, what do they do? You know, I either saw their name somewhere or I, you know, whatever it was, and I saw a link and I click on it and I look at their site and I couldn't tell you what they do, and if I don't really care, then I'm out. It also, you know, goes toward keyword, you know, search engine optimization and making sure that your homepage has information about your company and the proper keywords that people are searching for. Meet the expectations of your site visitors. So if they're there to get contact info, give it to them. If they're there to fill out a form to get more info, make it within a click or two for them to be able to do that. Don't make them search around looking for it. It's not an Easter egg hunt, okay? Another one that Corian knows very well is having a well-written, #1, #2, regularly updated blog. And the blog can be called a blog, it can be called a newsletter, it can be called the latest news, whatever you want to call it, but there's several reasons why you want to do that. #1, it does add keywords to your site, and Google does reward original content and regularly added content. It does It does help your SEO score. But from a marketer standpoint, I tell my clients that it lends credibility to your expertise in your field. So if you don't have to hire a writer. If you're a decent writer, even if you just did a thing with Google News where you sign up and have keywords about your industry delivered to your email every day, and when you're sitting down having a cup of coffee at home or when you first get in the office, find an article that's interesting or a news item and give your opinion on it. That's a blog post. And you giving your opinion on it, hopefully you know your field well enough that you're going to give an angle that maybe the person who wrote the article wasn't aware of. But at the very least, you're adding content to your website, you're showing that you have an expertise in your field, and if you do it regularly, if you don't do it regularly, don't do it. It's just going to look like cobwebs all over the place, so don't do it. But make that part of your plan. I would say as regular as possible.
How often?
I mean, it depends on your industry. One of my clients is a heating and air company. It's cold. It's hot. It's cold. It's going to get hot. So really the stuff with that's not as often, right? It's a few times a month when they have certain things coming up, specials, blog posts, new things in the industry. I mean, there's where you can set the temperature of your house from work and things like that. So there's some stuff like that, but it's not nearly as often as other fields, that are maybe like a restaurant where you're posting specials and talking about upcoming events and things like that.
And just one thing I'd say is, in typical, what I recommend for people is if you can, once every 2 weeks should be a minimum. If you can, more than that, great. I should also mention I'm teaching a class on social media marketing, which is covering blogging at Sierra Commons tomorrow at, I believe, 5:30. That's through CDBG. Huh? Yeah, we're blue again. So if you have any questions about that, just ask me. It's through sierrasbdc.com.
What was it on again?
So I'm doing social media marketing, which is covering blogging as well as distribution, different social media channels. Yeah, it's just so you know, it's through SBDC, Small Business Development Center. It's at Sierra Commons. You can find out, it's on the calendar at the sierracommons.org website. It is $40 for entry on that, and that goes to CDBG. Okay.
Well, I've now lost all my mojo.
Whoa, it doesn't take much, does it?
It doesn't take much. So another one, which I alluded to a little earlier, is making your site, technical term for it is responsive. And what that means is if a mobile device pulls up your website, WordPress is excellent with this. Most themes that you purchase these days are responsive. You want to make sure they are. It knows it's a mobile device and reformats your website to fit the mobile device. Okay. I don't know. Have you tried looking at your website on your mobile device? See what it looks like. If it's super teeny tiny text and your website is just shrunk down, it's not responsive. So you want it to be responsive. You want it to be easy to navigate. Small businesses. I'm assuming most people here have a small business. You don't need to have a separate mobile website. If you get a theme with WordPress, if that's what you're using, it should be responsive. The newer themes are, and that's simple. It's because it does it automatically. You don't have to, if you make a change to your website, you have to go and make a change to your mobile website. It's just a lot of hassle for most people, I would say. This is something that people really mess up a lot, and I'm gonna give you an example in a second. Make your site represent what your company is. If they look at your website and it doesn't jive with going into your brick and mortar store, your location, that's a contrast you don't want. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily mean colors, although that does help. But having it represent your company, your marketing should be consistent throughout your website, your signage, your trucks, your windows, any print material. It should all be consistent. Logos, colors, fonts, all that kind of stuff. And that's where professional comes in. If you're, and I think businesses that notice that you're at the right spot where you need to go find somebody to help you. If you're at that point. So I'm gonna pull up an example to show you. So how many of you know Mal Paint Glass? Okay. Been here for how many years? How many centuries? Long time, right? Third generation, something like that. So how many of you have seen their new Built, well, I call it new building, it's been there about 5 or 6 years now. Over on Main Street, have you seen it?
Yes.
You know, it's a nice building, right? Very nice? Okay. I'm gonna ask you if their website represents them. You ready? None of you have eaten yet, right?
Not at all.
Okay? They're better than that. It's just, I just happened to see this recently, and I'm not trying to crap on them, but I wanted to show you guys an example. I figured it'd be one that you knew what their store looked like. So, that,
Look, they have a sale May 11th to 16th.
yes.
Let's rush on down there.
So I'm telling you, my background is marketing. So marketing, websites and WordPress, it's just another tool, right? I mean, it's still marketing. Marketing is still, I've had arguments with people about burnt out light bulbs and dirty floors being marketing. It is. If I walk into your store and I see that you don't pay attention to detail, guess what? I don't think you pay attention to detail. And why would I hire you to do anything or buy something from you if you're not going to pay attention to detail? So it is important to, so when it comes to representation of your company, having things consistent across the board is really important because you either have a brand or you don't. And people spend more if you have a solid brand. I don't care what business you're in, they will spend more. I had a client recently that I was describing branding, and I said, I said, what kind of jeans are you wearing? And she said, I can't remember the brand name. And I said, how much do you pay for it? She goes, you don't want to know. And I go, oh, I really do know. Now I really want to know. $120 for the pair. And I said, okay. So if you walked into Kmart and those same jeans were sitting there with the Kmart logo on it, would you buy it? No. Branding. That brand makes her feel good that she's wearing them. And it certainly could be that she likes the fit and all that kind of stuff, but the whole overall brand is why she pays more and is happy about it. And that is true. If you have a solid brand, I mean, I can probably pull up another paint and glass or glass company that's website is just current and looks good, and they may not be as experienced as Mowell, but I'm telling you, how many people sell their home, a 3-bedroom, 1,200-foot home in the Bay Area for $1.2 million. They come up here and buy a nice house, and they have a lot of cash to spend, so they're upgrading to dual pane windows and blah, blah, blah. They will notice a crappy website and be gone in 2 seconds. They're very savvy. Living in the Bay Area, you're used to that. So if you find, so you can find a couple other ones to give you some contrast. I would just look for home glass, Grass Valley,
Okay.
something like that.
I was just thinking of going bigger.
Yeah.
Because again, this is the thing with competitor research. I like getting out of our local area if you want to find something that's...
Well, I was going to show a direct contrast.
Okay.
Like
Sure.
why someone would go to ABC company rather than Mowell. And Mowell, as you know,
They're not.
they're known. They're very, very professional. They're a very popular company here.
There's more. Well, top of Google.
Sounds like a client opportunity for...
Yeah, could very well be. But again, I want to simplify the idea of a website. It's not a scary thing. It's just another tool. 10 years from now, it'll be a different one.
Here's Grass Valley Glass.
Okay, so see, if you looked at those two websites and didn't know Mowell's and you didn't know the history and that they're a solid company, okay, which one are you going to call first? That's the bottom line. And I'm telling you, this is what people do. I don't know about you guys, but you may find yourself, someone will call me and talk to me, or someone will mention a business, and if I'm on the phone with them, I'm looking their website up just to see what they're about. And it would be pretty hard. This isn't even a great website, but scroll down and look at their building. Look how the building's pretty. The website should at least
Show that.
at least give that same feel, right? That it's a solid company. And they've got a decent logo. It's very, it's very iconic and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to leave you with this. A lot of people don't do this. Again, your business is like this, right? You can't see around it. When you're browsing the web and you see features of other websites, doesn't have to be in the same industry, that you like, incorporate it in your website. Either do it yourself or have your guy do it, like being able to click and call. A lot of people, they do that and they don't even look at their website and realize that they don't have that same feature and it's handy. So that's how you keep up on the industry, is paying attention, watching what other websites are doing, that, there's new features every day, and so you just kind of see little things, calls to action, those are huge, there's little plugins for WordPress that you can put the time, after 0.7 seconds on my website, have a little thing pop out, that kind of stuff, calls to action to get people to either call you or fill out a form or go to a certain web page you want to lead them to. All that stuff, you see it on another site, do some investigation, find out what it takes to put it on your website. I mean, it's innovation is happening all the time, but I think people, as web browsers yourselves, you become accustomed to certain features of websites and you look for it. Well, go look at your own website and see if it matches up. So,
Great.
that's all I got.
Here's some time for some question and answers. Matt? Yeah, Doug.
I got a question. I've been seeing a lot of the newer themes. They kind of like are interactive. You scroll over something and the icons will light up, or they have these parallax things going on with the photos and stuff like that. What do you think of those? They're responsive and they do all the other things you're looking for, but are they getting a little too buzzy, or are they kind of working?
Good question.
My opinion on that is when you're a marketer, you're constantly competing for attention, for people's attention. So anything that, I don't want to say anything because then it leads to all the flashy stuff I told you not to do. Things that make you stand out a little bit. So parallax is cool in certain areas when it's the latest and greatest. It's been around for a few years actually, but more sites are using it these days. And so the wow factor is what people are using for that, right? So they scroll down and woo, and it looks professional, looks like you're ahead of the curve. Next 2 years will be something different, but I think that's where you would use it, not to be fancy, but just to show that you're maybe a little more on the cutting edge. Too much flashiness is too much for me, but having things that, even I've been doing web design since '94, and so, and no joke, the first websites that I designed, gray backgrounds, everything justified left. There wasn't even a center command when I first started doing websites. So for me, there are websites where if it's something new, I went onto one website and I put a cursor over a box and it flipped around and showed me some other content. I went, ooh, even I do that, right? So sometimes that's cool, sometimes that little wow factor, helps. Just don't do it too much.
I was just going to comment on it. Really know your audience, because like a lot of my clients, I would call them, like, generically the avatar would be like a middle-aged female, highly sensitive, heart-based entrepreneur who's not really technical. And so when she looks at a website, if it has all this stuff on it, sometimes she'll just go into overwhelm. And it's not going to make her feel relaxed. It's not going to make her want to contact you. So the clients that I work with will generally not use some of those things. So it really depends on who is your audience.
By the way, this is subliminal advertising right here, what Cornell's doing.
Just because maybe not everybody knows what a parallax is, what that images are.
Yeah.
So I went to Sarah Collins as an example. So it's a more common thing now where you have sections of the homepage, but it's overlaid like with that image that we just saw at the top, and I think part of this is it's just the internet connection. But having a view of the Bridgeport Bridge to create some geography here, because that's what Sarah Commons is about. The other thing I wanted to demonstrate, we were talking about consulting websites and how to pick those. Unfortunately, the internet connection is just bogged down. My advice is go to Wix.com. They have categories of different templates. Among those categories, there's one for consultants. Those websites within the template range of Wix are ones that are most designed to be customized for the consulting field. But also don't stop there, look through other categories, because sometimes there may be something in a different category that you go, oh, I get the vision of my business as a consultant to fill in that information. And also it's a great place, as Rick was talking about, there's all these different options for website design. Going through those templates, you'll start seeing some of these different layouts and the different options. You go, okay, well maybe it is a fit to do parallax on my website or to have some kind of more advanced interactive feature. So if you're
But before you get fancy, get the basics down.
Yeah.
Make sure your site has the basics first.
I used to say parallax.
Parallax, P-A-R-A-L-L-A-X, I think.
And is it a plugin?
It's I think is there a plugin or it's usually
No,
it's
they're
built into
usually in the
themes?
themes.
Yeah, it's usually built in, but I think there are plugins that you can add it to a theme.
Or WordPress.
Yeah, or in WordPress, yeah.
And there's a variety of different formats and layouts for that. Parallax is just simply coming from physics. It's when light kind of bends and does something unexpected. Cool, any other questions? Okay, I guess we did our job. You guys all know how to go to your website.
I think we overwhelmed them. They're all gonna need a nap now.
What a stunning round of applause for our speakers there. That was great. Okay, guys, so we'll be back next month, fourth Tuesday of the month. Please feel free to spend a little time to do some networking here, to have some conversations. And of course, Rick, Evelyn, and I are available if anyone has any additional questions. Thank you. Have a great week.
Thank you.